of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
I do not see Pastor Hutchins. Okay, we are going to pass on the invocation for tonight and move on to the introduction and roll call.
Mr. Gallagher.
Present.
Mr. Ben Blackwood.
Present.
Ms. Leanna Hardy.
Here.
Mr. David Montemayor.
Here?
Mr. Alejandro Flores.
I'm over here.
And not present, Mr. DeLeon English, Mr. Jason Olson, and Ms. Melissa Myers.
Perfect. All right, we are going to table item 5A, the approval of the minutes. We don't have the quorum to approve that from last meeting. All right, and then we can move on to the superintendent spotlight.
All right. Vice President Montemayor, board members, at this time we have Brent Elementary, and I'm going to ask Mr. Bruno to come up to the podium. Ms. Gwen could not be here this evening, so we have the pleasure of having Mr. Bruno. So thank you for being here.
Thank you, Mr. Gallagher and the board, giving us a chance to spotlight Brent tonight. As you can see, we have 5 6-foot-plus rockets over there, ready to go. So I want to introduce
Who's got a match?
Miss Nay. Please come on up.
Can the students go stand by their
Yes,
rocket?
please. Yep.
Guys, go ahead and stand by the rocket.
Miss Nay is our 4th grade math and science teacher, and she will explain how this whole process started.
Okay, back in October, we were given the opportunity to make teams to build our rockets. It was through a company called Fun to Discover, and they are actually partnered up with the Texas Motor Speedway Speed to Read. So any school that was partnered up with this had the opportunity. There were 25 schools throughout the district. They are a STEM-based program. So we got all of these rockets, and they just came in a tiny little box, and then here they are today. They had to work as a team to assemble them, and then at the end, they got to paint and decorate them. So I wanted, real quick, for us to just kind of say their names. Can start over here with Zoe, and then say the name of your rocket. Just say your name and the name of your rocket. Okay. Okay, Max, go ahead. Okay. Okay. We were not, unfortunately, able to launch them. The company did cancel the launch, so we wanted to still honor all of their hard work. So on Friday, we displayed it for the entire school. One of the prizes was going to be the overall appearance, so we thought that's something the whole school can vote on. So we had them displayed in K through 5th grade, all took turns voting for the Rockets. And we had 2 winners. We had the Rosie Rockets. Girls, you want to raise your hands? Good job. And then we had the silver one. What's the gold one's name again? Brent Rocket Stars. They were our 5th grade winners. So good job.
Very cool.
Thank you for letting us spotlight us. Appreciate it.
So these are functional. They canceled the launch on
They
it.
are functional, except we don't have the motor.
Right.
So that's the one piece we're missing is the motor.
That they were going to provide that on launch
Yes,
day.
we have the parachutes. We have everything to land them, but we don't have anything to launch them with. So.
That's very cool.
Chemistry team.
Yeah.
Here, I'm sure can launch those sites.
We have emailed out some help, but nothing's finalized. So hopefully, fingers crossed.
Awesome. Well, y'all, students, y'all did a great job, and I can see we have some future future engineers and maybe some rocket scientists. So y'all did a great job and keep doing the work that you're doing. And maybe we can get one or some of these launched before the end of the year. We're going to work on that. That's going to be our goal before the end of the year. We will launch a rocket. So y'all did a great job. Congratulations.
Not because it's easy, but because it's hard.
Board members, we're going to move on to item 6C. 6B, we had a student, and I think she's actually here, but we're going to present on her project at the next board meeting. But I'd like to ask Miss Renee Pentecost to the podium. Principal
Thank you,
of Little
Mr.
Elm High School.
Gallagher. And board, I appreciate every month y'all giving me the opportunity to come and introduce some of our wonderful high school students to you. Tonight's kind of theme is all of these students have plans after high school of going into some sort of public service occupation. So without further ado, I'm going to first ask Miss Tamia Thompson to join me at the podium. While Tamia's coming up, I want to thank her mom, who's taking a picture, for being here, and I believe her dad and maybe another family member that's here to support her tonight. Tamia is a junior. She is the student who plans on presenting her research to you. Tamia is actually a published author. She published a book before she even came to high school and middle school, and part of her plans is to publish a second book next year. While she's been at high school, she's been on our academic decathlon team for 2 years. She's currently on the yearbook staff. She has completed all the work for receiving her gold Girl Scout award, and that's part of what she wants to come and talk to you about, but that final ceremony hasn't taken place yet. She is also I'd actually planned on presenting Tamia to y'all last month with the 3 boy states delegates, because Tamia is our one and only girl state delegate.
Awesome.
And yes. Her plans after high school is she's already zeroed in on her top college, which is Fisk University in Tennessee. And she wants to major in political science and eventually go to law school. So, some of the things that Tamia's teachers had to say about her is that Tamia is probably one of the hardest working students I've ever had as a teacher during my time at Little Elm. I originally had Tamia in journalism class last year, and this year I have her in yearbook. This class takes up a lot of time, but she still finds time to be dedicated to other projects, including Girl Scouts, but she is always able to put her all into whatever she is focused on. I wish I had more students like Tamia. That was her journalism teacher. And then her science teacher said, "This is my second year having Tamia in class. Tamia is smart, kind, and passionate. When Tamia participates in something, she goes all in. In addition to being a great student, Tamia spends a lot of her free time helping out her community. Tamia is an outstanding person all around." Awesome. Miss Tamia Thompson. There's that. And if you'll just wait here, we'll introduce the others. The next student I would like to introduce to you is Mr. Caleb Daly. Come on up. And while Caleb's coming up, both of his parents are here tonight, and I want to thank them for joining us because, again, these wonderful students are not just a product of the high school. I would like to take credit for that, but they have great parents who send us their very best, and we are very thankful for that. So, Caleb is one of our students in our public service and law path of study in CTE. He currently is taking Law Enforcement 2 with Mr. Schrage. He has played baseball for 2 years. 4 years and been on varsity for 2 years. He has been on the drum line for band for 3 years. He was a Texas Boys State delegate last year as a junior. He has already enlisted in the Army, and his ship date is June the 3rd. So very short time after graduation, and he will be going straight to Georgia to Fort Benning for to start his career in the Army. His ultimate goal is to be an Army Ranger. Some of the things that Caleb's teachers had to say about him is Caleb is a very sweet soul. He is always positive and has a way of putting a smile on everyone's face. Caleb's future is bright, and I'm honored to have him as a student. That was his science teacher. Then Caleb also is a member of our PALS group, which is a mentoring group of high school students that go and mentor elementary school students. So his PALS sponsor, Mr. Olinsky, wrote that Caleb has been a staple in the LEHS PALS program for the past 2 years. Caleb has one of the kindest hearts that I know at LEHS. He is a great representative of our high school and district. And then finally, his baseball coach said, Caleb is one of the highest character and faith young men I have ever coached. He is an extraordinary young man that has always put others first, off and on the field, with his servant leadership and compassion for others. Mr. Caleb Daly.
Miss Pentecost, I think we're going to get some pictures.
Yes.
Ms.
Oh, wait,
Jones?
I got 2 more.
Okay.
I
I saw
brought
Miss
you
Jones coming up.
double the good news tonight, okay? So another student in our Law and Public Service course of study is Miss Courtney Locke, if she'll come on up. And her aunt, Miss Janelle Madley, who also works for the district, is here tonight, and we appreciate her being here to support. Courtney has been a 4-year basketball player, 3 years on varsity. They just had the basketball banquet last week, and I'll read for you in a little bit the honors that she received there. She also played in the band for 3 years, the trumpet. She has already signed to play basketball at Dallas Christian College. She got a 4-year scholarship there. While she is there, she is going to major in psychology, and she ultimately wants to be a police officer. She currently works at Fuzzies. Some of the things that her teachers had to say, this one's kind of long. This is her basketball coach, but this tells you some of the honors that Courtney has received. Courtney has been a member of the Lady Basketball Program for 4 years and consistently led through leadership on the court as well as in the classroom. She is a member of the Student Athletic Leadership Council and led and held an outside job during her career. Courtney is a committed student both to her academics and extracurriculars. We are proud to announce that she is a Texas High School Coaches Association Academic All-State, District 85A Academic All-District, District 85A Second Team All-District, and 2019 Team MVP. She plans to continue her education and basketball career at Dallas Christian College. We will miss her dearly, but wish her the best. And one final teacher comment from her speech teacher says, Courtney is a pleasure to have in class. While many seniors would take it easy in an elective, I can always count on her to give her best effort, which says a lot about the type of a young lady that she is. Miss Courtney Locke. I have one more. So would Miss Ty Harrison please join me? And Ty's mother is here tonight as well. So thank you for being here to support. Ty is also a senior. She has been in our health science course of study. She is a HOSA member. She currently is serving as president of HOSA and has helped start the middle school chapter of HOSA this year. She has been a cheerleader at Little Elm High School for 4 years. She helped start the Catholic Student Association. She's passed her Certified Clinical Medical Assistance certification, and currently this year she will be taking her Pharmacy Tech and IV certification. Her plan, she's going to college at Mary Hardin Baylor, and she will, her ultimate goal is to become a nurse. And she thinks right now that she wants to specialize in pediatric travel nursing. Some of the things that Ty's teachers had to say, her math teacher says Ty has such a positive attitude and transmits it to the rest of the class. There is such a difference in the class environment when she is not present. She is such a responsible and determined young lady who always gets her work done and takes care of business. I'm definitely going to miss her next year. And then Miss Nicoli, who is, you okay? Okay. Who is her anatomy physiology teacher and HOSA sponsor, said Ty has grown so much this year in her leadership skills, and this month has gone above and beyond to make sure the kids were all ready and supported for the state competition. Miss Ty Harrison. So as you can see, we've got a future nurse, a future lawyer, a future Army Ranger, and a future police officer up here, and I'm very proud of each and every one of them.
As Ms. Pentecost, I'll echo those words as Ms. Jones is going to take y'all's picture. Tamia, Courtney, Caleb, and Ty, great examples of the kinds of students that we have in Little Elm ISD. But, you know, as a oh yeah, parents come up, take pictures. But I'll tell you, as a former teacher, and I hear what these students want to do. It's inspiring to me that obviously they're coming from great homes with supportive parents, and we just love hearing the success that they are. You can get in there too, Ms. Jones. But we love hearing about the success that they're having, and appreciate parents, your support along the way. And boy, they're just great young adults here, and very proud of y'all.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, that's certainly very impressive, very cool to hear all the good things that are going on at the high school. So is that it with the superintendent spotlight? All right, so do we have any citizen input, Ms. Bellevue? Okay, so with that, we will be adjourning to or we will recess into the closed meeting, Appeal 1, as permitted by the Texas Open Meetings Act, Code Chapters 551.072 and 551.074 at 6:49.
Let's go for it. Let's get her done.
right, we ready?
Yes.
All right, meeting resumes at 7:51. We have. All right, also report to the superintendent.
Board members, at this time, I would like to ask Dr. Ashley Glover to come to the podium.
Thank you. Good evening, Vice President Montemayor, Board of Trustees, Superintendent Gallagher. I have some information to share with you this evening on our Title I campuses. As you may have noticed in your board book, we are bringing on an additional Title I campus, which will be Lakeview Elementary. So what I wanted to do is briefly share with you some information about how we serve our students and what that looks like for our Title I campuses. There we are. Perfect. Okay, so who we serve. So in order to be a Title I campus, that is going to be a school that has 40% or more students on free and or reduced lunch. Each student at that Title I campus is served. It's not just students who qualify for free or reduced lunch. So if a campus is Title I, they're all served. All students are served. And then we also work with our teachers and support staff at Title I campuses, just as we do at every other campus. We just have more of a targeted approach for these particular schools. And how do we serve them? Through the instructional focus, we meet the needs of the learner even beyond that instruction. So this may look like, for all schools in Little Elm ISD, additional parent involvement. This may look like targeted instruction. This may look like tutors, things of that nature, intervention, extension during the school day. And so this funding is for additional intervention, as I stated, and then it's needs-based instructional for supplies and materials. And then these are all campuses, as you can see here. I know we had some discussion last month about some of these percentages of our economically disadvantaged or those that qualify for free or reduced lunch. And so what I've done here is I've shown you in the blue, you'll see those are our current Title I campuses, Chavez, Hackberry, Oak Point, and Brent. And then the campus that we'll be bringing on in 1920 would be Lakeview. You can see that they are just at 40% with the 0.5. You'll notice that this is essentially in numerical order. And so Prestwick, both at the elementary and at the middle school level, they are not in that same 40% look. And then we also have campuses that are a little bit higher. You'll notice that aren't Title I campuses. So why not? The reason is they have comparable funding for secondary level instruction. So their needs are met in some different ways. And so I just wanted to share that information with you as we continue to bring Lakeview Elementary on as a Title I campus. I want the board to have the opportunity to ask questions when you see and hear those things out in the community.
No, not from us.
All right. Thank you,
Thank
Dr.
you very
Glover.
much.
At this time, I would like to ask Mr. Martin to come up to give a construction program update.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. It's a lot warmer right here than it is over there. It is, yeah. Update on the construction program. Let's see. This is our status report. This is what we keep up with. This is a living document. It changes every time contract goes through, every time we spend something. This shows you where we are through the current phase. And we're $175 million has been allocated. As you remember, back in February, we did a groundbreaking at Walker Middle School. This aerial is about 3 weeks old. There's a lot of concrete, a lot of piles in the location. Grade beams have gotten started. This has progressed quite a bit since then. This is a shot again across it, showing you some of the activity. We did the same thing at Strike, same day. Although everybody got tired of the hard hats at this one and nobody wore one. This is where we are. They've started, or will be starting, their drilled piers this week. It's an open enough site so that we can get more than one rig on there. We'll have 2 to 3 rigs working different places to try to get them caught up with Walker. Another aerial, another position. This shows you really good, really well the extents of the football field and the track. You can see that large oval in the middle. This is our ball field renovations. We finally got the chemical injections to work. Came up to meet what we needed them to for stability. They started putting in the outside edge of the track, setting up the base for the pour for the track. New electronic sign over at the stadium. It's in, it's up, it's operating, signed off on. It's ready to go. Transportation, even though it's not a bond project, it is construction. This one is moving along quite rapidly. We have, here we go. This is the stage of the building as of last week. Exterior studs going up. Some of the interior stud layouts are coming in. The roof is about 90% or a little better. It's still on schedule to open in July. We got our other fuel tank, the one that's closest in the picture. That's a dual tank. It's gasoline and diesel. The large one at the far end is the one that used to be behind Hackberry. It's the propane tank. And the shot on the inside, this is looking from the bays into the admin area. Summer proves to be a pretty busy one. We have those projects that are ongoing, in addition to some high school HVAC replacement that we're planning. We have bond roofing projects at Zellers and Chavez and Brent. We have insurance roofing at Lakeside and Hackberry, CTE area renovations in the SPED area conversion, all going on at the high school. Still have some safety and security upgrades to do. Some more renovation work at the athletic complex that is currently scheduled. Additional HVAC equipment replacements throughout the district. And then phase 2 funding is expected in May of 2020, unless we're able to sell some more bonds between then, and we'll just add more projects to the list. That's quick and dirty.
I only have a quick
Questions?
question. I know we're a little bit behind on strike. Is that correct? Do you see any reason why they're not going to be finished? I mean, is there just anything to update?
We got a release letter from the city, from the colony today,
Okay.
which released the final building permit.
Gotcha.
They were holding up some of the site work until that happened. They were allowing them to go through and start drilling the foundation piers, but they wouldn't let them do any underground utility work without the full building permit. That kind of held them up a little bit. But like I said before, it's a wide open site. There's no reason why they can't get several rigs on there and start to cut some time out of that schedule. They're not worried about it right now, and I'm not yet.
I did have a question. So, do we have an actual deadline date that we're working towards? I remember with the add-on at the high school, we always talked about, it'll be up and running for the fall of whatever year it was, but the actual date was like 3 weeks after school started. So there's still a lot of stuff going on. Do we have an expected date that is before students come into the school for August 2020?
Our TCO dates are all in late July, and that'll give us a couple of weeks to get the furniture in, get it all settled up. First day of school is middle of August, and we expect to be ready by then. But everybody's targeted to have a TCO late July.
That was one of those where we all assumed, and we always talked about being on everything. Every time we was asked, it was on time. None of us realized that on time meant 3 weeks after school started, though. So I wanted to make sure we were on the right side of school.
Make a note and ask me that question a year from now.
Yes, sir.
We'll ask it regularly. Anything else?
I just want to say, to Mr. Martin, just we appreciate you, the work that you're doing. You know, as we look at these pictures and as I drive by the sites and see what's happening and the pace that it's happening, I know with the exception of strike, but I know we're gonna close that gap. But boy, you're doing a great job. We appreciate you.
Thank you. Appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you. All right, so moving on to our action items. We're going in this order. Mr. Roberts?
All right, yeah, up first, I've asked Mr. Roberts and Dr. Cindy Micka and Dr. Tony Tipton to present on strategic plan, Destination 2025. So I'm going to turn it over to y'all.
You bet. Thank you, Mr. Gallagher, Board of Trustees. Good evening. And I want to do a quick introduction to Destination 25, and then I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Micka and Dr. Tipton as we present our slide deck to you. 2 weeks ago at our board workshop on April 3rd, we spent time presenting and working around Destination 2025, and we're bringing that to you tonight for an action item and a vote on that. We are year 4 into Destination 2020. And so it is time to look at the incredible work that we've done as a district and move on from there. And so with that being said, I'll turn that over to Dr. Micka.
Thank you. Good evening. So in 2015, when we began our strategic planning, there were 2 points that really led us in the direction. The first was that an absence of a strategic plan, and then also that we really wanted to have community involvement on any planning that the district undertook. And so it was really important that we have a five-year plan to purposefully guide our work. And we set out first in 2015 to identify core values, to clarify our vision. We also needed to develop a mission, and we needed to design goals. And our strategic planning process, it was very important that we have a team effort, and this involved community members, parents, students, teachers, Little Elm business members, and administrators. From there, we created strategies. And this all took place March 25th through the 27th at the Tribute. And we underwent protocols for consensus building in all of these areas. So the vision that we adopted was the vision of the Little Elm ISD community is to be the destination district. Our mission was the mission and still remains the mission of Little Elm ISD is to engage, equip, and empower each student to realize their full potential. And our values were the culture founded on the highest qualities of character, unleashing every individual's highest potential, creating a community where every student loves to learn, every teacher loves to teach, and every person is proud to call home, embracing all of our kids as all of our kids, and an open and transparent and timely communication. We had several areas. The first was recruitment, retention, and engagement, teaching and learning, communication and community partnerships, career and technical education. And we presented a plan that was approved on May 19th, 2015. And so in the past 4 years, we have been working on those areas and the goals and strategies and actions within the Destination 2020.
So where are we now? If you take a look at our strategic plan, and like I said earlier, opening up this presentation, we are year 4 in Destination 2020. And so we wanted to put together a team consisting of campus leaders, department leaders, superintendent cabinet, and we wanted to review our Destination 2020 product. What we found, many activities had already been completed. And also, along with that, we found that many activities are ongoing, so they will always be there and always be ongoing, such as our professional learning plans and professional learning activities. And so why now? With Destination 2025, we recognize that our focus has evolved beyond the Destination 2020 plan, as well as Destination 2020 was what was needed at the time. 4 years later, the district has enhanced needs, such as the new CTE regulations from state, the regulations for endorsement pathways and industry certifications, also our work with the 3 cornerstones for the district, and our focus as we prioritize the needs moving forward. What was important to us when we got this group together is we wanted to honor the work of the 2015 strategic plan team. That was very important for us. We were very comfortable and we wanted to honor, and we're very excited to continue the continuity with our vision, mission, and values of the district. Also the cornerstones of the district and focusing on supporting teaching and learning. And we also wanted to include finance and operation pieces into our plan moving forward.
Board, you will see some differences between the 2020 plan and 2025. We refined some of our wording a little bit. So in the 2020 plan, you'll see categories. In 2025, they'll be called strategic focus. You'll see goals in 2020. They're the priorities for 2025. Strategies become core responsibilities, and action plans become measurements. So the 4 areas that we landed on, again, was teaching and learning. And you'll notice that we moved teaching and learning to the top of the ladder because that's the core work of what we do, the most important thing we do. Community engagement, human capital, and then we added in ensuring fiscal health and sustainability. It was really important for us to get all areas of the district a little bit in a circle. Uh-oh, I think I ended it one too soon. We're going to pop up the graphic. There we go. So as you can see on your screen, we talked to Casey Bain after we did our work and gave her a sketch out of an idea, basically a skeleton. And as always, she came through in amazing fashion for us and created the 1-pager that you see in front of you. As you can see, we talked about having everything be full circle. So we had her make the circle around teaching and learning, community engagement, human capital, and then financial health and sustainability. And then on the left, down on the bottom, you can see under teaching and learning, under each category, you can see the areas that we will focus on there. So we had 4 in teaching and learning, 2 in community engagement, and then 1 each in human capital and fiscal health and sustainability. And very important over on the left in the yellow, you can see the vision, the mission of the district hasn't changed. The values haven't changed, but we've also worked in our cornerstones, which are very important to our work going forward. So we'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Yeah, and I want to jump in real quick. It was, as we talked and as we worked as a group, it was extremely important to me and to our team to not get away from our vision, not get away from our mission or our values. And the team that put this together, I guess almost, how many years ago now? Was it almost 4? They did such a beautiful job with this. And I've been in multiple different districts. I still have never seen a vision as clear, as focused as ours. I've never seen a mission, again, as clear, as focused. And then the values really do communicate what we believe in Little Elm ISD. So we felt as a team, we felt strong that we did not want to adjust those because of the direction the district started in 4 years ago. We're really moving in the same direction. We're just stepping it up. It seems like every year we're bumping it up a little bit. But we also wanted to be sure that when we looked at the different areas we were going to focus on, a question maybe, well, where's CTE? CTE was its own focus area. So do you want to kind of mention one of either Ross or Tony, Cindy?
So we felt strongly that CTE belonged under teaching and learning because it is part of our curriculum. And so it is one of our priorities, not only CTE, but really focusing on the college, career, and military readiness. And so one of the priorities there that you see is we will engage each student in learning experiences that lead to increased college, career, and military opportunities for post-secondary success. And so that embodies and talks to why we have those enhanced needs. It's not just CTE, but it's college, career, and military readiness. And so that is our new priority. And then some of the CTE measurements will come in under that.
And also, will you explain why we added the finance piece? And maybe we want to have Grant come up and talk about that, but do you want to add to that? Why did we add the finance piece, ensuring fiscal health and sustainability?
Yeah, I think it was important to add that piece so that not only our community, but everybody sees that that also is a focus, where before that was not a piece added in Destination 2020. And so it was very important for this group and this work with 2025. It's kind of those needs that we've kind of expanded to, and we needed that and wanted that as a part of this plan so that people see that as also, as it usually is a focus of the district.
I knew the answer to that, by the way. I just wanted to make sure that we were putting it out for the public. But I think when the public sees this, what they will see is that we're staying true in the direction that was set forth by our community and by our board, but we're enhancing it and tweaking some things really to push our district to that next level. I anticipate when we get closer to 2025, we may have some different categories or some different needs, but right now we feel strongly that a few minor tweaks really help us get to that next level. So at this time, Mr. Gallagher and Board of Trustees, the district recommends approval of the strategic plan, Destination 2025, as submitted.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second? Any more questions or concerns?
I do have a comment, not really a question or anything. President Myers and myself had the privilege of being on this team when we developed the Destination 2020. And there were a lot of very passionate people in that room. And, you know, we talked about it in the retreat, that it was actually a student who helped us with the mission. And, you know, she's long gone, she's graduated, but she was with my daughter's class. So she actually kept in contact, and she made a comment the other day that when she saw that, she was proud that it was still here, that we still used it. So this goes beyond our district. Yeah. And, you know, our kids, they've left, you know, that are gone, they come back and they see what we've done. And just knowing the work that we did and the pride that people had when we approved Destination 2020, I can say that for myself anyway, I really like what you guys have done. I think this is a fantastic extension of what we began, and I'm looking forward to the new priorities and starting to work towards those. And with CTE, I know people are where we are now and where we were 4 years ago with CTE is night and day. And we don't need its own category anymore, right, because now it's established. And that was what we were working for back in 2020, is we wanted to establish a CTE program. So anyway, you guys did fabulous. Thank you very much. And I'm very proud and excited about this.
Thank you.
I guess the only question is, if it's approved tonight, how soon would we roll it out to the community?
Tonight. As soon as you approve it, we will, honestly, tomorrow, we'll put it out on the website tomorrow. And I think it's important to get it out there because I want to send a message to the community that we are staying on the track that we're on, and we're just pushing forward. And it really does, Ms. Hardin, I'm glad you mentioned that about that student who worked on and gave her thoughts about our mission when we developed this. It says a lot that, she still recognizes that, but we didn't leave these in here just to leave them in. We left all of that in there because as a district, we all believe it. If you ask any employee in the district, name one of our values, you're going to get everybody to name something. In fact, most people will say all of our kids are all of our kids. So we're really proud. And then, of course, the one piece that we did add is the cornerstones, the 3 cornerstones that are really guiding the focus of instruction in our district.
And I did want to reiterate, the other day technically was last summer, so I just want to let y'all know. Sorry.
I just wanted to tell you, tell everyone, thank you very much. Being one of the 2 people that came on the board after the initial one was passed, it had, the past year or so, it had seemed like we had moved beyond what the initial ideas were of 2020. So it's very nice to see that we are going back in and have, recommitted to the entire idea. So thank you very much.
I guess my question, also comment, part of the Destination 2020, it was very detail oriented. In the workshop, we talked about how we got down to the task level. I think that was a function of we were going from nothing to, wanting to be able to show to the public, hey, these are the steps that we need to take, and then be able to give updates to them. So my only question here is, is this structured so that we can update, or kind of keep status of what's progressing on this, or what milestones we're achieving along the way, if it's not so detail oriented?
So we actually have worked out those measurements as well. And so with each of these priorities, we have several areas of measurement that we've worked out, and we will be giving updates to the board on our progress. But those are what we have as our working documents. What we found with Destination 2020 is that with all of the tasks there, that even though we had completed a task, we couldn't just update it as the internal department felt it needed to be, and we stayed true to that. Having this with adopting our strategic focus and our priorities, and then having us update as needed the tasks as we progress, it doesn't make it stagnant, but actually makes it a true working document.
Okay. All right. All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Roberts, Dr. Mika, and Dr. Tipton, and we will work on getting that on the website updated tomorrow, and I'm sure we'll work on some video we can put out. I like doing videos. Yes. All right, next, Dr. Mika.
I'm coming to you this evening for the approval of our Houghton Mifflin Harcourt pricing proposal for our K-8 English Language Arts, Spanish Language Arts adoption. It's part of our Proclamation 2019 from the state, which provides for the adoption of K-8 English Language Arts and Spanish Language Arts instructional materials. The district has chosen Houghton Mifflin Harcourt, which you approved last month as our publishing company, for the English Language Arts and Spanish Language Arts instructional materials. And we will be purchasing these materials from the instructional materials allotment. So the HMH pricing proposal is $1,266,128.73. And the administration recommends the approval of the purchase of the ELAR and SALR instructional materials as submitted.
Dr. Mika, before you go there, can you explain, just for viewers out there, anytime you hear the dollar amount, $1 million, it's a significant amount of money. Explain what this adoption means and how many years it's for, to kind of paint a picture of what we're investing in.
Yes. So what this $1.2 million involves is all of the instructional materials for reading, handwriting, and writing in our English language arts in K-8 and our Spanish language arts instruction in K-5. And so we will be purchasing Into Reading, Arriba La Lectura, Into Literature. It also includes a robust professional development package, including 1 day with our campus leaders and district leaders to understand the adopted materials so we have a successful implementation, and 3 days of teacher training interspersed throughout the year, as well as some coaching opportunities at each grade level at each campus. And so that will include 8 coaching opportunities, 4 face-to-face and 4 online for a set number of teachers at each campus. It's a very robust package. We have chosen to go with a consumable textbook for each of the 8 years. So every year we will get a whole new set shipment of consumable textbooks for our students. And the reason why we did this is because of our focus on literacy that we began this past year. And it's very important that our students have the ability to write when they're reading. And so, like we do when we are reading articles or we're reading books, we just don't, our pages aren't left blank. We're writing on them, we're highlighting them. Having the consumable reading materials and writing materials will allow us to teach our students how to take notes while they are reading to make them become more effective readers for comprehension. And so,
and just for clarification, the funding for this comes out of IMA, which is Instructional Materials Allotment. So it's not coming out of the general fund.
no, that is correct.
I just want to be clear.
Yes, our instructional materials allotment is set by the Texas legislature for each biennium.
Can't yet.
Okay, so this is for an 8-year period?
Correct. So this,
No questions yet.
we've,
Sorry.
in the
Sorry.
for the first purchase.
Yeah.
Do we need to do a
So is there
motion
a
first?
motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. So now, questions?
So for the first year, we've gone with a 2% increase in enrollment. So we will have the consumables for every student. After that, we will get the set amount that we agreed on for the next 7 years thereafter. So for every book that we get after that, we will have a reduced prorated amount for the cost of that book. But our set price is set for teachers' editions, et cetera. We also will have electronic of everything that we get. We also have classroom libraries coming in at the K-5 level in English and Spanish, and we have novel sets coming in at the 6 to 8 level.
So just to clarify, I just want to make sure I understood completely what you were saying. The 1.2 pays for next year. There will be a reduced fee for the following year. No, okay,
Okay, let me clarify. Thank you.
okay,
So the 1.2 pays for 8 years
Okay.
for this set cost of the amount of students that we have currently plus 2%.
okay,
So we are guaranteed that amount of
8 years worth of
consumables for 8
textbooks.
years.
okay.
But as you know, we're a fast growth district. And so next summer, we will look at how many additional beyond what we've
Okay.
purchased for the next 8 years that we need. So it'll be a minimal amount every year that we purchase. And that's standard for any time that we go out for an instructional materials allotment. But this is we purchase this year and we get them for the next 8 years shipped to our district before school starts every year.
And then I guess my only other question would be, well, this is English, so it doesn't really, it's not as much of a factor of textbooks being outdated so regularly fast, but any updates would automatically, any newer editions would automatically be included in this. We're not going to be getting the same book for 8 years. It will be, if they do an updated revised edition, it would be that one, correct?
Typically, and yes, if there's corrections, then
Mhm.
yes. And the electronic version will be updated and we can make printables, reproducibles online as well.
Okay, thank you.
And so my only other question is, with all the focus we have on getting our curriculum and we now have new curriculum tools, how does this interface with that?
So the TEKS resource system is already working. There's two components here is that one of the reasons why we're up for a new adoption is because we have new English language arts TEKS coming out. And so the TEKS resource system has already been at work realigning those. We will take this with HMH works with TEKS resource system for their units of study. And so instead of just turning the page, we will know which sections of the textbook to go to align with the TEKS resource system scope and sequence. And so we'll be working with that. That's part of what our trainings will be with the administrators and also with our teachers.
Very cool. All right, no more questions? All right, so all those in favor of approving this pricing proposal? No opposed, motion passes. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
All right, next, discuss and approve financial reports. Grant Anderson.
Good evening, Board of Trustees and Superintendent Gallagher. You received the February financials in your board packets, and the presentation includes the budget amendments and financial information presented for the information through April 2019. The financials include the general fund, capital projects fund, debt service fund, and as you know, the general fund, we increased the federal revenue by $244,000 for additional impact aid revenue. And we increased function 11 instruction by $211,000 for instructional material and supplies for students. Those are our two major budget amendments. In the capital projects fund, we increased capital outlay fund appropriations by $115,795 for technology upgrades. And debt service, there was no major budget amendment in the debt service. And some future financial considerations I've been bringing to you for a few months now is, so as you approve these budget amendments and try and get the financial layout of our district, these are the things in the future that we're considering. The open, of course, the operations facility in 2019-20, and the opening strike in Walker Middle School in 2021. And the possibility of slowdown in the growth of taxable assessed values resulting in decrease in year-over-year general fund revenue. We've been bringing to the board for a few months, and LASD did receive preliminary taxable assessed values from Denton County Appraisal District, and the preliminary TAVs indicate a 9% decrease in TAV growth from the prior year's 20% growth. And certified taxable assessed values are normally released middle of July prior to setting next year's budget. So we'll get our certified values sometime middle of July. And also, as you know, that's on the docket in the future is the 86th legislative session and the proposed school finance bills, which include items which will impact property taxes, school funding formula, and instructional programs. And so we continue to meet with our financial advisors and estimate the proposed impacts of some of the bills. And our decision making, we continually try to align our decisions with the passing of these bills whenever that may come about, if they don't have a special session. But in the ongoing, of course, preventive and deferred maintenance cost of our buildings, that's always a consideration when we're looking at our finances and the possible slowdown or decline in tax collection rate. And also, I'd like to introduce a little bit about considering the unencumbering general fund budget from general fund debt and capital outlay costs, and that possibility of the sale of an additional bonds passed under Proposition B to refund general fund debt with short-term bonds prior to August 31st, 19. So we may come to the board and propose that we go out for bond sales for, under the Proposition B to refund our general fund debt, and also pay off general fund capital lease debt prior to August 31st, 19 with possible 2018-19 general fund savings surplus. So these two financial transactions would, again, unencumber our general fund and leave it a little bit as we move into the future with opening up the two middle schools. And then also the approved capital reimbursement resolution from 2017 bond of up to $10 million as communicated in the bond program election. In our general fund financials, you see the initial budget, and on the proposed amendments tonight for the total estimated revenue is an increase of $280,000. So we'd end with estimated revenue about $72.6 million. And again, we're at 76% of our appropriations budget at the campus level. And we have a balanced budget with a $280,975 offsetting appropriations. And as you can see, our general fund budget remains balanced. Our fund balance is also, we had our initial budget just showing that our fund balance, budgetary fund balance is at $28.9 million. And we're going to remain at $28.9 million after the budget amendments tonight. Our capital outlay fund, we started to show you these financials so you can see the our bond projects and what's our bond sales to date, and also the project budgets and the year-to-date expenditures and the balances on those projects. And I think it's very transparent to bring this to the community as they see what the 2017 bond election is funding and the budgets associated with each of the projects. And tonight there are no bond projects or budgets being proposed. So you can see after the issued bond balance, that our net budget remaining is $13.2 million. In sold bonds. Our transportation and operation facility being funded mainly by general operating is 63.3% expensed. And then our debt service fund, we have budgeted $21.2 million estimated revenue, and we're estimating a budgetary fund balance about $5.4 million. You can see that between the last board presentation, this one, that we've had, we received a lot of our $1.6 million of our tax revenue, and the year-to-date is $21.2 million in tax collections. And we also pay the interest on our long-term debt on some of the bonds at $6.3 million. And these are the financials that were submitted with the board packet, and the administration recommends approval of the February 2019 financial reports as presented.
There a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second? All right, any questions?
I do have a couple, and these go back to your mentioning of the HB and the SB2 that are both being considered by the legislature right now. I know it's some of the other districts that I've spoken with and I've seen information from them on, from the proposals that are out there. They've already been able to work with some of the numbers and the proposals to figure out what kind of increases and savings that's going to mean for their district. So have we been able to look at that yet and find out what our potential per student increase would be?
Yeah, well, each of the bills that we've done, we have discussed and calculated the impact of the bills, and we see the net gain. And on some of them, it's difficult to.
It's very difficult to pinpoint, understand.
Yeah, it is. I want to be careful because there's a lot of bills out there, and there's still the HB2, the HB3, and then the SB4.
Oh, yeah.
And there's all I can tell you is that we're hoping for a net gain. And then also just remember that some of that revenue that is, I've seen, the Region Service Center sent out they'll call it the net revenue. That revenue has earmarked programmatic costs that they also include. So hopefully if the bills are passed, it will end up with a net gain. But right now we're working our budgets at this point under current law, knowing that's changing, but we have an extremely holistic viewpoint of where we're at in the legislature, and we do. So I can't, and I probably won't give you a clear answer to that because there's just so many moving parts to it, and we're hoping the right thing happens and
Well, by that, you answered my second question. My second question was going to be, have we been able to figure maybe a percentage or possible dollar amount of savings for property taxes for our people? But that's, again, can't answer that either until a lot of
I've
this stuff goes
seen,
through.
all I can do is, I'd point you back to what has been, I guess, mentioned, and I'm sure Mr. Gallagher would have some, he's also been watching the legislature very closely, but at this point, I'm,
And it obviously is preemptive, but there's been quite a few districts have been out there trying to promote it as much as possible, actually giving concrete numbers. And understand, I would much prefer, let's err on the side of caution in this particular case, because rather than if you put numbers out there right now, tomorrow those numbers could be completely different. So,
yeah, and we did do extensive, there's, I'm sure you've heard that what's called the summary of finance, and that's the financial mechanism from the state, and all of our funding flows through it. And they came out with a HB3 edition, and we went through that, and we got with our financial advisors and discussed it. And again, hopefully we end up with a net gain. But
It all depends on what they do.
yeah,
in
once it
Austin.
goes through the reconciliation process, it's going to be a different picture than what it is right now. So, all right, thank you.
Any other questions? All right, so all those in favor of approving the financial reports as presented? Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Thank you very much. And also discuss and approve the Little Elm ISD expenditures are 50,000 summary. Also, Mr. Anderson?
yeah, and yeah, the Little Elm, or the expenditures over $50,000. And on it, we have four expenditures over $50,000. But I would like to strike out line number 3 for the $543,000 with the concrete. I'd like to bring that back probably at next board meeting. And so you have CDW and CAR services with Clay Walker, and also in line 2, CDW and Weaver Technologies. And wants to upgrade the IDF and the bandwidth, and also the second one is for the voice VMware. And the first one's $78,000 and the second one's $37,000. And these are both funded out of our capital outlay fund, where we put it, we moved over about $1.1 million last year. So I don't know if that was that clear on the number 3, striking it out.
Yeah, that's what I was going to verify. So number 3 is not, you're not,
Yeah, not at this point. We'll bring it back next month. And I'll just tell you, I'd like to match that up with some revenue that we're going to get.
Now, you said there was 4.
Yeah.
We just had 3.
And then the next one with the STEM scopes with Cindy Mika
That's not in our
for the
book.
curriculum. And that's,
is that on another page?
No, that's not in our
what?
book.
I'm sorry.
I think it's in here.
Yeah, we don't have
Is it?
No, it's not.
No.
I don't
Okay,
think
I'm
that one's
sorry.
in there.
So can we,
At this point, should I talk about it? And then can it be approved as presented?
as presented?
The STEM scopes with Accelerate Learning, these are STEM scopes, hands-on kits. Will provide our science teachers the materials necessary to complete the required hands-on lab activities. These curriculum materials are needed to meet the required TEKS in science instruction. And this is $150,000, and it's we budgeted in the general fund. So the administration recommends the approval of the Little Elm ISD expenditures over $50,000 summary report as presented.
And I would actually say this, excluding the CFP.
Well, it's always said as presented, not as
Well, it is-
submitted. As presented, not as
We
submitted.
can do it that way, okay.
Yeah.
So
So
then
as-
as presented,
All right, so is there a motion?
you got to say motion.
Hmm?
I need a motion to approve.
Okay, I need a motion to approve the Little Elm ISD expenditures over 50,000 as presented versus as submitted.
So,
Thank you.
second.
And any other questions?
No.
All right, so all those in favor? Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you very much, Mr. Anderson, and you stay up again, right? So discuss and approve the Little Elm ISD interlocal summary report.
Yes, we have 200 locals, one from the town of, with the town of Little Elm, and it's just, again, a purchasing co-op with that'll allow Little Elm in the town of Little Elm to purchase various goods and services commonly utilized by each of us. And then Texas Women's University with special population affiliation agreement between TWU and Little Elm to provide high-quality clinical learning experiences for clinical students in TWU's SLP program. And this has been submitted by Courtney Clover. And the administration recommends approval of Little Elm ISD interlocal summary report as submitted.
So is there a motion to approve the the Little Elm ISD interlocal summary report as submitted?
So moved.
Any questions? All right, all those in favor of approving? All right, motion passes. Thank you.
I have one question.
It already passed.
That's just a clarification. Expiration date is NA on that first one. Is that just because it's going to be ongoing?
Yes, it'll be an interlocal that we usually do like a master interlocal, and then if there's any contracts that are needed within it, like we'll bring those to the board. And gives us authorization to do business with the town of Little Elm.
All right, so now discuss and approve the energy savings performance contract and project design build RFQ results and recommendations. Mr. Martin.
Good evening again. In your packets, you will have the results of a recent RFQ that was sent out for energy saving performance contract. The ESPC is one facet of a comprehensive energy program being developed by the district to help us save some money. Through the ESPC, we'll secure a professional assessment of existing systems, including HVAC, lighting, building envelopes, which are the exterior windows and doors, even the irrigation systems and controls and how they're controlled. When the contract with them to develop scopes of work in these items and then perform that work, they will guarantee specific energy savings as a direct result of the work or write us a check for the difference. Other facets in this program will include user behavior training by the ESPC and adjustments to the unit cost of energy itself through renewable energy programs offered by our current energy provider that would hold unit costs to a minimum or even reduce them. More on these other facets. For right now, we'd like to present to you the results of the RFQ for the ESPC. You see the rankings there. We had 2 respondents, both of them extremely good companies in the energy industry and how they were ranked. So we move that the board approve both respondents, Siemens Industry and Johnson Controls, as approved ESPC design build vendors for the district.
Is there a motion to approve Siemens and Johnson Controls as energy savings performance design build providers to the district?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Yes, my first question is, why both? I mean, are we going to engage some for certain campuses and some for others, or is there still a further determination needs to happen to be which one will be used?
We couldn't really justify not accepting both because their qualifications met what we needed. So also helps to keep one honest over the other.
So will they each come up with a plan for the entire district, or?
The way it works, we have to go with the one who scored highest first, And if we can't come to some agreement, can't work out the program with them, then we have a second one that we go to.
Gotcha, okay. So is your approval to continue on with both? You're going to go with the first one first and then go from
We
there?
will.
Okay. Any other questions? All right, all those in favor of approving? All right. Okay, carries.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do we have any changes to the consent agenda? All right, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, all those in favor? All right. Perfect. All right. Now I do have a board president's announcement on board training. So as, there's a form that I'll be reading as prescribed. So as board vice president, I'm required to announce the name of each member who was, as of that member's anniversary of election or appointment to the board, or at least the regular meeting of the board before an election of trustees, the board members that, one, have completed the required continuing education, have exceeded the required continuing education, and are deficit in meeting the required continuing education. There are 4 tiers or categories of board member continuing education. Tier 1 is local district orientation. This is basic legal orientation and legal training, legal update training. Tier 2 is team building trainings with all board members and the superintendent. Tier 3 are annual continuing education, and Tier 4, evaluating students' academic performance. To the extent applicable to board members under the legal requirements for all 4 tiers, I will announce the completion or deficiency as to required training. At the conclusion of this announcement, I will announce any board members training in excess of the continuing education requirements. This year, since there's no first-year board members, there are no Tier 1 trainings to be announced. For Tier 2 team building trainings, the following board members have completed the required team building trainings. Dan Blackwood exceeded, Deleon English exceeded, Alex Flores exceeded, Liana Harding exceeded, David Montemayor exceeded, Melissa Meyer exceeded, and Jason Olden exceeded. Tier 2 trainings. Tier 3 trainings are annual continuing education hours. The following board members have completed the Tier 3 annual continuing education requirements. Dan Blackwood exceeded, Deleon English met, Alex Flores met, Liana Harding met, David Montemayor met, Melissa Myers met, and Jason Olson met. Tier 4, evaluating students' academic performance training. The following board members have completed the required training for Tier 4 training on evaluating student academic performance. Dan Blackwood exceeded, Deleon English has not met, Alex Flores has met, Liana Harding has met, and Jason Olson has met. This doesn't require an approval, it's just a report to the board. Okay. Is there any, open it up to any board comments?
Thank you for inviting me to the board meeting today. I'm over here. No comments.
Just thank you. Good night, guys.
One, thanks staff for everything they've done and very much appreciate it. Thank you.
I guess, really just to continue on, thank you for everything you're doing. Thank you for, the constant, kind of looking at over everything, making the improvements that are necessary, the changes to keep the quality and the improvements needed going in the right direction. So thank you for that.
Yeah, I'll echo those words. Thank you, board members, just for your continued support and helping us with the direction of the district, helping us move forward. Our executive team, thank you all for, I'd say, staying late. We're actually early tonight, so we could talk a little bit longer. But again, thank you all. Thank you all for all the work that you guys do and helping us move forward.
Okay. So is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Is there a second? All those in favor? All right, motion passes to adjourn meeting at 8:51 PM.